there are two dimensions of this subject, made for more. Now, if we are saying that you are made for more, there are two things. Number one is becoming more. And then number two is doing more. So, when we talk about made for more, the first step is that you must become more. And then out of the more that you have become on the inside of you, that only to that extent, only to that degree are you going to do more. That means whatever you do is simply as a result of what you have become. If you don't become it, you cannot do it. So when we are talking about you are made for more, we're talking about, number one, you are becoming more. And then out of what you have become, then you can do more. Now, if you study the book of Genesis, the Bible shows us that everything that God created, He made something, and only to the extent that He made it, that's what He did. So if God made the water, He made the water and taught the water. What you can do out of what you have been made to do is to take care of the fish and this. And that's what water does. Water does not reproduce any animal. Water does not get pregnant because it wasn't made to do so. He said, let there be two great lights. Talking about the sun and the moon. And He told them, you as the sun, your job is that you will rule over the day. And the other one will rule over the night. And that's what the sun does. Have you ever seen the sun raining? Have you ever seen some fruits, some apples from the sun? Have you perhaps seen the sun produce some clouds? The sun produce some clouds. It doesn't, isn't it? As the sun, what it has been made to do, that's what it can do. So what the sun became, that's what limits its jurisdiction of operation. Anything that the sun tries to do that it hasn't been made to do, it is access denied. It is not permitted. In the realm of the spirit, you are not permitted to do things you haven't become. Do you know that without even going to the realm of the spirit, even in the physical, you are not permitted to do things you haven't become? Men, you are not permitted to get pregnant because you haven't become a woman. You see what I'm talking about? You become a woman first. When you become a woman, you are permitted to get pregnant when you have to. You see, without becoming a driver, you cannot drive. You must first become a driver. And have you noticed that it is more difficult to become a driver than to be driving? I've noticed some of you, the way you drive, you'd see the way you are driving, here you are eating, especially men. They are eating and chewing, and then they are on their phone, and this is a manual car from nowhere. Have you seen people that drive, and it's a manual car, they want to change the gear, then they put the phone like this, here they are changing, and they are just overtaking anyhow. But look at that very same person, when that person was learning how to drive. Look at some of you when you were learning how to drive. You went to the driving school. You were taught that, you know what, when you are turning, you do this. You remember? Some of you. You know? You were taught all these things. Did some of you get to that moment where you are supposed to change the gear? As you're changing the gear, the car starts turning. And then you leave the gear. All of that happens when you are learning. Once you become a driver, then it can only get better and better. And the more you do it, just gets greater and greater. That's the way it goes. You cannot stop cars on the road until you become a police officer. You cannot represent anyone in court until you become a lawyer. So there are things that you cannot do until you become. The same way in the realm of the spirit. If you deny becoming, you have denied doing by default. So, doing is what shines. Doing is what everyone wants to see. So, if you look at a tree, the beautiful part of a tree are the fruits, isn't it? But the fruits cannot come except the tree starts to come. the tree cannot give out guavas without first becoming a guava tree. You don't just go to any piece of wood and just go to the wood and say, you know what, you piece of wood, I want some guavas. I'll take very good care of you. I'll put fertilizer on the wood. No, unless the wood becomes the guava tree, it cannot give out guavas. Are you there? Genesis chapter number 1, verse 26. Because you see, the hustle is everyone wants to do stuff. Yet the stuff is not really about, you know what, it's not really about I want to do this, I want to do it. No, it is becoming. Once you become, the doing is the easiest thing. Actually, even if you just left it without doing anything, once you have become, you will